welcome back. And this is Ria doing stained glass project number 2. The reason I'm showing you this is just to show you that I have improved with my glass cutting technique, and I found that by using the glass cutter and pushing my finger along the line where I cut it, helping the glass cutter to sort of travel, helps a bit. And trying to bear in mind not to be so tense. That also helps, but doing this helps if you push it along with your finger. So I'm getting my technique down. And just a little close-up of the foiling technique. I say whatever copper foil you use, ideally you want to place the piece of glass in the center so that you have equal sides of foil on each side of the glass. But it does take a little bit of practice, and I sometimes have to lift it up and put it back down, so I think that will just come with eyeballing it and practice. I'll try and get my corners nice and flat. And use the little tool to just press the foil down on the glass. And this is why I clean my glass very thoroughly, so that there is good adhesion between the glass and the copper foil. Okay, so you can see we've moved on a bit. I'm fluxing it up. The whole project. You can see I've put the pieces together and used blue painter's tape to keep it all in position. And then just basically going over all the places where it joins. Just pick a spot and just start dropping little bits of solder on. This is called tacking. And then when I've done this, you do it both sides. I can take off the painter's tape. And this just holds the project together so that the painter's tape doesn't get in the way. You can just go straight on to the next step. And then just going in with the soldering iron and tinning, which just basically means putting a very thin layer of the solder over the copper foil. Do that both sides, and that now gives it strength. Then I reflux the whole thing and go in with the beading process. Now this is the process that makes the project look nice, and because I've tinned it, put down that first coat of thin solder, this is now easier to do because the solder now has a surface to glide over, and you literally just put the solder to the iron and try and drag it in a straight line, and the solder, you hold it just above the solder and it makes a sort of a beading or a banked effect, and that's what makes the project look nice. So just continue front and back. I actually like doing this. I find this quite therapeutic. I think it's fun to do, to watch the solder come up in nice little beads and just make it look so nice. I've got my project soldered, and I'm going to try something different around the edge. For my Phoenix, I just did the copper foil and solder, but for the cat and the Poppies, I'm going to try hobby cane. And it's literally a strip of lead, and I don't know if you can see this, but it has a channel in it, and the glass fits in that channel, and then you wrap it around the glass. Hobby cane or lead cane, when you get it, unless it specifically says that it's stretched, you have to stretch this, which just means that you get yourself a vise which looks like this, and you attach it here, you open the end and you put the hobby cane in there, and you literally just pull on it, and you'll see all the little bumps flatten out till it looks smooth. Then it's ready to use. Or the more economical way is to do it with a partner and each get a hold of a pair of pliers and just have a tug of war. Maybe that's more fun. So this is now ready to apply to my project, and this is the first for me, so it'll probably be a bit fiddly and a bit struggly, but we'll do it. Okay then. So here I'm doing something a little bit different with my project around the outside. Instead of just doing the copper foil and the solder, I'm putting on the lead cane. Now when you do soldering with 60-40 lead solder, you have your temperature up to 460 degrees centigrade. But when you do the lead cane or the hobby cane, you have to turn it down to 360, because if you have it at a higher temperature, you will melt it. So bear that in mind. That's also another reason why I bought this particular soldering iron, because it has adjustable temperature ranges. So I'll just go along cutting and fitting and soldering in the pieces of lead cane until I have completely finished, and trying to tidy up. So you always solder it back and front, even though the hobby cane goes around the outside, you solder it on the seams back and front. You see me doing a little bit of tidying up. And that's basically it. And I really like the effect of this hobby cane. I think it makes it look much neater and tidier. Plus it gives it more strength too, because now you've encased the whole project in like a frame. So I really like this. I think I'll continue to do this method. So just a little bit more tidying up. And here you see me removing some of the solder. I didn't quite know what I was going to do with this project, whether I was going to put it on a stand like a plate or use hangers. So I decided to use hangers. And here I have my soldering iron up to 460 to melt that hobby cane, because I want to get rid of some of that solder, because I want to put the little holders that I've made, I want to embed them in the seam to give it strength. So just removed a little bit of the solder, and the idea is to make the holders and leave a little tail on them. I just made these by wrapping 18 gauge wire around a pencil and leaving a tail on. Remember to tin anything you add, like holders, so that it makes it easier for the solder to attach to it. And then this was going to be tricky because I needed an extra hand. So I was thinking to myself, how am I going to do that? And I also thought it would be easier to attach these little holders that I'd made if the glass project was actually elevated rather than being flat. And that's a piece of cork I'm using. So I'll show you what I did. Now this little gizmo was very handy. My extra pair of hands, I'm going to call it. And that orange base, you saw in the previous video where I was soldering, I had an orange fan. Well, that orange fan is part of this set. And that orange base is metal. And all the little arms and things like you see there, they're all magnetic based. So I bought this and I have found it very handy. I will put it in a link in the descriptions box below the video like I do all my stuff. And it comes with tons of good stuff like these bendable arms with the clips on for holding things. So I think this is going to come in very handy for doing various things I want to do, such as this where I need an extra hand or pair of hands. So I got the little clip to hold the little carrier that I'm putting on, and as you can see it keeps it in a nice steady position. Then I just hold my soldering iron up to the project and the clip, wait for it to cool a little bit, and then dob on a little bit more just to give it some strength, and then with a very steady hand it's done. And as I say, I really like this. It helped a lot. Now, cleaning. Cleaning is an essential part of your project. And you'll have various stages of cleaning. And the more you clean, and all the gunk you get off, such as the glue that comes out from underneath the copper foil, the better your project will be. Because the next thing is the patina. And do heed the warnings on the bottle. Get lots of ventilation, get yourself a mask, put on some gloves because this is corrosive, and do not breathe this crap in. I find this highly satisfying. Look at that. As soon as the patina hits the lead, bang, it goes black. And you just keep putting on the patina until you reach the colour that you want. This is a black one, obviously, so just keep on going until it just looks as black as you want it. I could have done copper colour, or I could have left it just silver. And don't forget your edges. So you do that back and front. Then afterwards you clean again. Then you add this polish, and I put it directly on my gloves because it soaks into the cloth too much. So just whack it on your gloves, slap it on the glass and the patina, and it will turn this into a very shiny project. And if you don't get the amount of shine you want first time, just buff it up. Obviously you do this on both sides and around the edges, and then apply another coat, and you've got to buff the hell out of this stuff. I started with a paper towel and moved on to a soft cloth. Yeah, it takes a little bit of elbow grease and a little bit of time, but it is so worth it. I also go in with the micro brush. The reason that you put the polish on is to protect the patina and the lead solder, because if you didn't do that, then over time the patina will oxidize and it'll get little bits of white, almost looks like white mold on it. If you apply a polish, it keeps the air from getting to the patina and stopping that. This is a step you don't have to do, but I'm going to do it because I want my projects nice and shiny. Next stage is attaching the chain to my little holders that I put on. And again, all the things that I use in this project I will put in the description box underneath the video. I haven't listed the glass, but everything else is listed in my supplies list.